Well, good afternoon. Thank you for being here tonight. We're very happy and joyful because today we start reading the Book of Heaven. We're going to start with volume number 1, and I just wanted to give you some little remarks and facts of Luisa before we start reading. Like, for example, in the first volume, she wrote the novena of Holy Christmas. So she started that novena when she was 17 years old, but she didn't finish it when she was 17 years old. And the first 2 days of the novena is in the first or second page of volume 1, but the last 7 are in the last part of volume 1. So just to have that in mind. And she started writing the Book of Heaven when she was 33 years old. And she did it because her confessor ordered her to do so. She didn't want to write nothing, but she obeyed what her confession told her to do. And he told her to write what Jesus had spoken to her and all what had happened between Jesus and her. So the Book of Heaven is all full of beautiful lessons and beautiful lessons that the Lord has spoken to Luisa. But we will see that while we read it, some of the writings are not like every single day. Sometimes she writes, for example, today, and she doesn't write maybe until 3 or 4 more days later. She finishes one volume, but she doesn't start the other volume immediately after. And it's because Jesus told her that he will not put her to write nothing, or he will not give her more lessons until she made the lesson that he had given her. Like if it's the lively in her, that she makes that truth that he had given her part of her. So the truth that he had given her has to be alive, because all the truth that are written in the Book of Heaven is not written with a pencil. It's written with the light of God in the words of Jesus. And Luisa was the one who wrote it. So let's start today. Paula is going to be the person that's going to read the book, and we are going to follow. And if anyone wants to stop, to say anything, please do so.
I'll just pause a little bit after the paragraphs. If anybody wants to say anything, you're more than welcome. So in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, out of pure obedience, I begin to write. You know, O Lord, the sacrifice it costs me, such that I would submit myself to 1,000 deaths rather than write one single line of the things that have passed between me and you. O my God, my nature trembles. It feels crushed and almost undone at the mere thought of it. Oh, please give me strength, O life of my life, that I may do the holy obedience. You who have given inspiration to the confessor, give me the grace to be able to execute what is commanded of me. O Jesus, O spouse, O my strength, to you I rise, to you I come, into your arms I introduce myself. I abandon myself, I rest. Oh, please relieve me in my affliction and do not leave me alone and abandoned. Without your help, I am sure I will not have the strength to do this obedience that costs me so much. I will let myself be defeated by the enemy, and I fear of being crushed by you justly because of my disobedience. Oh, please look at me again and again, O holy spouse. And these arms of yours, see by how much darkness I am surrounded. It is so thick as to allow not even one atom of light to enter into my soul. Oh, my mystical Son, Jesus, let this light shine within my mind, that I may dispel the darkness and I may freely remember those graces that you had given to my soul. O eternal Son, unleash another ray of light into my inmost heart and purify it of the mud in which it lies. Ignite it, consume it with your love, so that my heart, which more than anything has experienced the sweetness of your love, may manifest himself clearly to the one to whom it is obliged to do so. O my Son Jesus, one more ray of light upon my lips, so that I may say the pure truth, with the sole purpose of knowing whether it is really you, or rather an illusion from the enemy. But oh Jesus, how poor in light I still see myself in these arms of yours. Oh, please, content me, you who love me so much. Continue to send me light. Oh, my Son, my beautiful one, I want to enter right into the center, that I may remain completely sunken within this most pure light. O divine Son, let this light precede me, in front of me, follow me behind me, surround me everywhere, and penetrate into every intimate hiding place of my interior, that my terrestrial being may be consumed and you may transform it completely into your divine being.
Okay,
Most Holy Virgin.
Let's stop for a moment. What do you understand till this moment, Paula?
That he's addressing Jesus, that she fears writing these things down that are so intimate to her and that happen between Jesus and her. And at the same time, she's asking for the light to do what he wants her to do, the way he wants it written as well.
Yeah, there's something here that it's like in the second paragraph that it says, I fear of being crushed by you justly because of my disobedience. You know, Luisa was very, very obedient till the last moment of her life. And not only because Jesus wanted her to be obedient, but because she was obedient herself. And she was also very, she feared a lot. You know, she since she was very little, she hid from other people. She feared a lot. And now she's feared that she could be crushed by Jesus if she was disobedient. So whatever Jesus told her, she did, and whatever her confessor told her, even though it was against her will, right? Because she really didn't want to do it, but she obeyed and she said yes. And of course, that light is Jesus. Jesus is the light. You know, we see, we read it in the Bible as well. He is the light, and in the book of heaven, we know that He is the light.
And the light is also of the divine will, right?
Mm-hmm.
The light of the divine will as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the sun, the sun, you know, the son of the sun is the violation. How do you call that? Volation.
Volition?
Right? Volition, yes. El divino querer. How do you say that in English? Right?
Volition,
The
divine will,
yes.
divine volition.
The divine volition, yes.
Should I continue?
Actually, it says here, eternal sun, unleash another ray of light into my inmost heart and purify it of the mud in which it lies. So the ray of light that comes from the eternal sun is when it strikes the heart, when it strikes the soul, it crushes everything, right? It takes away, it purifies all the mud that lies in our soul. So she asked Jesus to have that light in her. And then she says, my son, Jesus, she named him son. One more ray of light upon my lips, that I may say the poor truth, the pure truth, with the sole purpose of knowing whether it is really you, or rather an illusion from the enemy. So she was very aware of the enemy and what he could do, right, to make her say things that she didn't want to say, or to make her think of things that she didn't want to think of. So she was aware of that. That's why she told her, may I say the truth, that my lips only say the truth with your light. If you enlighten my lips, I will always say the truth. And then she said,
it just reminds me that, sorry, I was just going to say that we can imitate what Luisa is doing when we start reading the Book of Heaven, where we ask the light of the divine will to enlighten us, to guide us so that we can understand, just like she's doing here.
mm-hmm. And then she said it right. She said, or rather an illusion from the enemy. And it's because the enemy, he knows how to make us think that something is true, but it's not true. It's really an illusion. And she was, she feared that she would like listen to him, or she would think that what she was thinking or going to say, etc., that it was not Jesus. And we should do the same.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we can continue. If anyone else has something to say. Okay.
So, Most Holy Virgin, lovable Mother, come to my aid, obtain for me, for my sweet Jesus and mine, grace and strength in order to do this obedience. Saint Joseph, my dear protector, assist me in this circumstance of mine. Archangel Saint Michael, defend me from the infernal enemy who put so many obstacles in my mind to make me fail this obedience. Archangel Saint Raphael, and you, my guardian angel, come to assist me and to accompany me, to direct my hand, that I may write the truth alone.
Yeah, she felt.
May everything be for the honor and glory.
She felt that she couldn't do it herself. That she needed to call Mother Mary. She needed to call Saint Joseph, Archangel Michael, or the other archangels, so they can assist her and accompany her. The truth is that we will understand and read later on that who really is in charge of guiding us and accompany us is our Mother Mary. She is the one who teaches us, and she's the one who guides us. So we will see that later on.
So may everything be for the honor and glory of God, and to me all the confusion. O Holy Spouse, come to my help. In considering the many graces you have given to my soul, I feel all horrified and frightened, all full of confusion and shame at seeing myself still so bad in unrequiting of all your graces. But my lovable and sweet Jesus, forgive me, do not withdraw from me, but continue to pour your grace into me, that you may make of me a triumph of your mercy.
See, it's a triumph of her mercy. So we understand now that this is like she is going through human sanctity, right? She's being purified by Jesus, and because the triumph of his mercy is precisely human sanctity. That's a triumph of his mercy. And then he said, continue to pour your grace into me, that you may make me a triumph of your mercy. So she was all full of confusion and of shame because she didn't want to talk. She didn't want to write. She was ashamed of whatever she could write that her confessor would say or would ask her questions or have some doubts on, whatever Jesus had told her. So here we see Luisa. She is 33 years old and how she feels, even though she has already experienced, since she was very little, the voice of Jesus, his teachings, and all those things. But right now, she is still like in that first stage, I would say, in that path to to um, to complete human sanctity in her, to consume human sanctity.
Mhm. I begin a novena of Holy Christmas at the age of 17. I prepared myself for the feast of Holy Christmas by practicing various acts of virtue and mortification, and especially by honoring the 9 months which Jesus spent in the maternal womb with 9 hours of meditation each day, always concerning the mystery of the Incarnation. As for example, in 1 hour, with my thought, I brought myself to paradise, and I imagined the most holy Trinity, the Father sending the Son upon the earth, the Son promptly obeying the will of the Father, the Holy Spirit consenting. My mind was confounded in contemplating a mystery so great, a love so reciprocal, so equal, so strong among themselves and toward men, and then the ingratitude of men, and especially my own. I would have remained there, not for 1 hour, but for the whole day. But an interior voice told me, enough, and come and see other great excesses of my love.
It's very interesting because you said that she was 9 hours, right? 9 hours of the day,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So she could be there contemplating and seeing that scenario, right, of the incarnation. But then Jesus needed, he wanted her to stop there so he can tell her something else. Because if it was her, she was going to continue. And when we learn in the book of heaven that's how we first start, like when we do the rounds, we just imagine in our intellectual, we imagine that scenario. And then, of course, we are with the fusion of the Holy Spirit and in the divine will. So when we're there, we don't only see what's happening, but we also concur in what's happening. But right now, she's only seeing what is happening. That she's in that stage right now. Later on, in other volumes, we're going to see how she's going to evolve in these rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the base of the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So because
Exactly.
we are going to appropriate the works of God in us. So we start with this in my mind and like imagine this, and with practice, this is a real truth in us. So that's why we need to practice the rounds all the time. So it's very important, and that is the
Mm-hmm.
base. It's simple, like like Jesus, like Luisa says. So it's so simple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is simple, but we don't believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
The
That
thing is
that
that we don't believe it, right?
that's why, because it's very simple.
Yes.
We don't believe it that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Actually, we go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go
no, yeah.
ahead.
So I think it's incredible. This mystery of the incarnation with these simple words. This is a huge truth for us. Imagine the most holy Trinity, the Father sending the Son upon earth, the Son properly obeying the will of the Father, the Holy Spirit consenting. So this is a huge word that we don't see the meaning of that. but it's so incredible for the soul. Like when we start to appropriate these works of God in us, because in this incarnation we are stay here with God in this time. We participate of this tremendous light, with this tremendous work of God. We're part of Him. So we need to meditate these words slowly, word by word, because it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple, yeah, but the meaning it's the nature of God.
Mhm.
So
See the way volume 1 starts is just like you say, Aris, it's very simple. Because it's simple for us to see this what she is contemplating. See, she
yes,
was contemplating, she imagined the most holy Trinity, right?
yes,
And then she said the Father
yes,
sending the Son
the Son.
upon earth. The Son promptly obeying the will of the Father.
Mhm.
The Holy Spirit consenting.
And this is the move of the
Mhm.
Trinity.
That's the 3 movements, yes.
Yeah, and this is
Trinity.
the real love, and this is the act of love of the God of God.
Mhm.
The unique act. I don't know how to say in English. Yes,
Yeah, that's right. Unique act. Mhm.
yeah, that's this meaning of this incarnation. And Jesus is the, I don't know how to say it. Yeah,
He's the one who acts. That's what you mean?
sí, yeah.
Okay. Que lo lleva a cabo, ¿verdad?
Sí, ¿cómo decirlo? Es la
But I mean,
perfección, is the perfection of God. Jesus is the perfection of God
Mhm.
in flesh. Yeah,
So here in volume 1, we see it like what happened, right, when he was incarnate.
yeah,
But later on in other volumes, we're going to see what happened when the Father was knowing himself and he was generating his Son, and then his Son was giving back to him what the Father gave him, right? And then the Holy Spirit was um,
the fruit.
the fruit. Yes, the
sí.
fruit of that love, but that's
Of that love, of
inside
that union.
themselves. Mhm.
Yeah, of that union.
Exactly. But here we're seeing it outside. What's happening outside? We're seeing it. What happened on earth.
Yes,
But it's so beautiful because the book of heaven is exactly this. It starts with a simple knowledge
simple.
of a great truth, divine truth, and then little by little it spirals up and it gives us more information and more information. It's so beautiful.
Well, I've heard that it can be said that the 36 volumes can be summed up by divine will and love.
Hmm.
Love, love is the essence of everything.
Hmm.
And if we sit and we can contemplate on this love, just the love between the Father and the obedience of the Son, promptly obeying, and the Holy Spirit, there's this exchange of love that we can just contemplate there
Yeah,
toward each other and toward man.
And not only that, they want to put that love in our soul because they don't want to feel lonely and they need us, you know, to have this conversation,
to
this
have company,
unique, huh?
to have company.
Exactly, to have company to have this unique company between who God created, his glorious creation with him, because he wants to see himself in his creature. He wants to love himself in his creature. And this is so beautiful. We are seeing it outside right now, but little by little we're going to see not conversation, that's not the word that I should use, but it's that correspondence between the creature, us, and God. You can continue.
Okay. So then my mind brought itself into the maternal womb and remained stupefied in considering a God so great in heaven, now so annihilated, restricted, constrained, as to be unable to move and almost even to breathe. The interior voice told me, "Do you see how much I have loved you? Oh, please make me a little space in your heart. Remove everything which is not mine, so you will give me more freedom to move and to breathe." My heart was consumed. I asked for his forgiveness. I promised to be completely his own. I poured myself out in crying, but I say this to my confusion. I would go back to my usual defects. Oh, Jesus, how good you have been with this miserable creature.
And this is very important, this paragraph also, because it says that, well, she said, my mind brought itself into the maternal womb and remained stupefied in considering a God so great in heaven, now so annihilated, restricted, constrained. This is something that it's almost impossible to understand. How God, right, so big, so great, so unique, so eternal, so infinite, he just restrained himself in a wound of his mother. But there's also an analogy that later in other volumes that we will see, that is that it is his stay in the Holy Eucharist. It's just like that. He restrains himself, right? He constrained himself to give himself to us, as he constrained himself and restricted himself in his mother's womb. And she was the one who gave us her son. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, he says, make me a little space in your heart. He's okay with that. He doesn't need big things. He just needs a little space. Anyone else?
When this is so important, remove everything which is not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everything we have is not of Jesus, of the life of God. Everything, even the human sanctity. So, because it's part of the human life. So, and this point is so difficult to understand. But it's the way that Jesus says in the book of heaven so many times. We see in the next volumes, but everything we have is not of Jesus, because we building a human will without this life. So that's why we need to remove everything.
Exactly.
Everything. The good and the bad. Everything.
The good and the bad.
Yeah.
Yes, because if there is something, there's another lecture That says if there's something that belongs to you, that belongs to, to us, that's what Jesus is saying, that belongs to you, I cannot do nothing because it belongs to you. I cannot go in there and I won't have the space that I need to
Yes.
move myself, to breathe in it, right? To have freedom in you. It's just like in the Holy Eucharist. He can't move. He can breathe. He doesn't have hands. He doesn't have eyes, right? So it's the same with us. If we have something that is ours, he's constrained. He's restricted. He cannot move. He cannot breathe. He cannot give us his life. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to give us his life.
And he said, give me more freedom to move and to breathe. And Jesus need this space, is a space in us, in our soul. That's all what we need to do that for him. To clean all our soul. I don't know how to say empty our soul. I don't know.
Yeah, empty ourselves.
For him.
Mhm.
So let's go a little bit deeper in there. So we need to empty ourselves. What does that mean? So if I try to empty myself to give him more space, that means that if I worry about something, he's not breathing.
Yes.
So I need to stop worrying about things so I can give him more space so he can breathe.
Yes.
Another example, if I am attached to my family or things or a way of doing things, that is my thing, and that is stopping him from having the space that he needs in order to do what he wants to do within us. So it's pretty much giving up everything that we like, giving up our attachments, giving up our daily routines, to make a space so he can breathe, like he's saying, give me more space, give me more freedom. He cannot have freedom to be in me if I am worried about me, my family, if I worry about tomorrow, my job, all those things that we're so used to, that needs to be gone, and it's not possible for us to do it. So all he needs from us is the intention. I want to give up all of this, and he's going to help us make it happen.
And to continue with your thought, I was just thinking that if I keep on living my life the way I'm living it, he cannot definitely give me his life, because I'm living my life and I was created to live his life in me. So this is what the Book of Heaven is all about. He wants to give us his life. He wants us to be him. He wants us to be him. He wants us to act with his attributes. So if I'm acting with my attributes, which is my miseries or my great or my virtues, he cannot put his attributes in my acts, because there are two how do you say voluntades? They're two
Wills.
They're two wills that are opposite one to the other. So my will has to be united to his will in order to act and to empty myself, right? So he can act. So if I'm doing what I want to do without him, I am murdering the life that he wants to give me. I think we can continue unless somebody wants to say something.
So in this way, I would spend the second hour of the day and then so forth with the rest. I would be annoying if I told them all. I would do this sometimes kneeling and when I was impeded by my family, also while working. In fact, the interior voice gave me no respite and no peace if I did not do what it wanted. Therefore, work was not an impediment for me to doing what I had to do. In this way, I spent the days of the novena, and when the eve came, I felt more than ever ignited with the unusual fervor. I was alone in the room, and here comes little baby Jesus in front of me, all beautiful, yes, but shivering, in the act of wanting to hug me. I stood up and ran to hug him. But in the act of squeezing him, he disappeared from me, and this occurred as many as 3 times. I remained so moved and ignited that I cannot explain it. But then after some time, I did not take it much into account. I did not tell anyone, and from time to time, I would fall into my usual defects. However, the interior voice never left me again. In everything, it reprimanded me, it corrected me, it encouraged me. In a word, the Lord acted with me like a good father, whose child tries to deviate from the right path, and he uses all the attentions and cares to hold him back, so as to make him his honor, his glory, his crown. But, O Lord, too ungrateful have I been with you.
So here we have Jesus that he is the best instructor, right?
Yeah.
The best instructor because he tells her
Well,
what
well,
she should do, how she should act, right? If she did not do what he wanted her to do, well, he will tell her, that's not the way you should do it.
yes. This is the interior voice is so important because this is like martyrdom of attention, like
Mhm.
Jesus says in the other volumes. So this is he start to teach teach to us them this martyrdom of attention very early in the books.
Well, doesn't that happen to all of us, right? That many times we have thoughts and then we don't do what those thoughts, keep on coming and coming and coming, and then we feel uncomfortable because we're not listening to those thoughts. And that's just what Body said. It's the inner voice. So
Interior.
until we don't accept that interior voice, and we get involved in that interior voice, we won't feel peace. We won't feel peace, and that happens to us all the time. But in the book of heaven, Jesus tells her how to do it, and we're going to learn how.
So from the beginning, the Divine Master began to strip my heart of all creatures, and through an interior voice, he would tell me, I am all that is beautiful and that deserves to be loved. See if you do not remove this little world that surrounds you, that is, thoughts of creatures, imagination. I cannot enter freely into your heart. This murmuring in your mind is a hindrance to letting you hear my voice more clearly, to pouring my graces, to truly enamoring you of me. Promise me that you will be all mine, and I myself will put my hand in the work. You are right that you can do nothing. Do not fear. I will do everything. Give me your will. This is enough for me.
He just told her, give me your will. That's the clue.
That's if you do not remove this little world that surrounds you, that it's thoughts of creatures, imaginations. I cannot enter freely into your heart. That's the space that we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So many space thinking in family, thinking in persons, thinking in imaginations, and we don't pay attention in the life of God in us, even when we have this knowledge, right?
Yeah, we have to let that go.
Because
We
we
have to
have,
let.
yeah,
Mm.
because we have a trouble and we start in that trouble and don't and we don't think in the life of God so many times. So this is the space that we need to remove.
Yeah, he says a little later, he says, keep your eyes, on me.
Yeah,
Don't, with one eye, you should look at what you're doing, and the other eye, just keep it on me. So
and
that's the way we should act.
that's why we don't hear this voice of Jesus in us, because we are empty of the world. No, we estamos llenos. I don't know how feel
Full,
full
full.
of the world of us
Mm-hmm.
creatures, persons, family, thoughts, everything.
And Jesus says, you take care of me, that I will take care of you.
Yes, that's this interchange of life, no, of change
Mm-hmm.
of life. That's the real meaning.
And that's what Penelope was saying too.
Yeah.
We have to take all those thoughts out of the way. In Spanish, we say "la loca de la casa."
Yes.
And the one that's crazy in the house. Well, the house is our brain, and our brain many times go crazy with things that are not from God.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
here
this would, mhm.
he's saying, do not fear. So just remember that. Do not fear. Things are going to happen. He's not saying that things are not going to happen in our lives. But when that happens, do not fear.
Mhm.
Let him take care of it.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly.
It can be like sickness. It can be a family tragedy. It can be the loss of a job. It can be financial problems. It can be family situations. Whatever it is, do not fear,
Yes.
because he will take care of it. Of course, it's not that we're going to stay in bed and not do nothing,
Mhm.
but we're going to listen to the inner voice. That's what Jesus is telling him. Listen to the inner voice. That is me talking to you. And that is what you should do. Because if not, you will not feel peace. So if we have a situation that is very difficult for us, many times we don't understand it. Let's listen to that inner voice. That will give us peace. And it will make us think in a different way. Because God doesn't think like we do.
I was just thinking that, for example, you gave that example of losing your job. And if let's say I lost my job, I immediately your thoughts go to, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? How am I going to pay this and all that? And that's what he's talking about there, is that if we are continuing with those thoughts, he can't do anything. He doesn't have the freedom to do anything. And like Penelope said, if we give that all to him, and we say those words, not my will, but thy will be done. And we have that inner peace that you're talking about, because we've given that over to him, saying, there's a reason why this happened. I'm not sure why, but I'll give it to you. You know what you're doing. And then we go into this peace that you're talking about, in that phrase that says, do not fear. Because I think immediately as a human response, you have that fear. But he's making a promise there that he says, I will do everything. Just give me your will.
Yeah, we need to believe that he will take care of us.
Yes.
All the time.
We can put an example of when Joseph had to run away with the Virgin, with Mother Mary, and with Jesus, because they wanted to kill Jesus, Herodes, right?
Yes.
But he listened. Of course, it says that's an angel. Well, many times our inner voice can be an angel too, because that's what they're there for, right? And that will give us peace. So if we have to run for any reason, if that gives us peace, but it's not running away from the chaos or running away from the situation, it's just walking with God through the path that He wants to lead us into, because there's something bigger, something greater that is about to happen. And if we let go what we think that is maybe the best thing to do, if we let go of that, many times it turns around in a better way.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 100%, not many times.
So, give me your will, he said. And sometimes we think this is a word, but it's not. Because this is we need to give everything of us. Everything. This is not only a word. This is not only to say, I give you my will. No, no, no. It's not a word. And that's so important, because all the people thinking that it's only a word. No, I say, I give you my will, and that's everything. No. It's an act. In every single act, I give my will to this divine will. This is not only a word.
And that is something that you do daily, all the time.
Yeah.
At every moment, you're giving up, what you want, because you want what He wants.
Yes. Yes. Everything what happened in our lives, it's the will of God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, our will should be used to move Him.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's what we should use our will for.
Yes.
That's what we were made for, to move God in ourselves, in our soul, and to have this unique relationship with Him. One love, one will. We can continue reading maybe one more paragraph if you guys want to.
Yeah. Sure. So this would happen mostly during communion. So I would promise him to be all his own. I asked his forgiveness, for up to that point I had not been so. I would say to him that I truly wanted to love him, and I prayed him never to leave me alone again without him. And the voice would continue, "No, no, I will be together with you, observing all of your actions, your movements, your desires." Should I read one more?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would feel him upon me for the whole day. He reprimanded me in everything. For example, if I let myself be carried away in conversing a little too much with my family, even of indifferent things which were not necessary, the interior voice would tell me, "These discourses fill your mind with things that do not belong to me. They surround your heart with dust, such as to make you feel my grace as weak, no longer alive. Oh, please imitate me when I was in the house of Nazareth. My mind was occupied with nothing but the glory of the Father and the salvation of souls. My mouth uttered nothing but holy discourses. With my words, I tried to repair for the offenses against the Father, to dart through the hearts and draw them to my love, and primarily my mother and Saint Joseph. In a word, everything called upon God, everything was done for God, and everything referred to Him. Why could you not do the same?
Well, this is very important, right? In the first volume, almost the first words, he says, imitate me. Do what I did. It's your turn now. If I did it, you can do it with me.
It's already done.
Exactly.
We take what he did and do it with him.
Mm-hmm. So what did Jesus do in the house of Nazareth? Right? He was a carpenter, yeah, but every time he used to do things in carpentry, what was he doing really? He was occupied in nothing but the glory of his Father and the salvation of souls.
I think this is a lesson for us.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus say, when Luisa says, he restrained me in everything. For example, if I let myself be carried away in conversations a little too much with my family.
I got lemons from the tree.
Exactly.
We do
Okay.
we do it
Go
this
back to
so many times maybe in the day. We have these distractions from the life of Jesus. So he's teaching us to detach from everything, from the world, from the family. So these lessons is so important because this is the beginning of the life, of the real life. If we don't have this in us, we don't have the comes through this book or the other lessons. This is the enter to the glory. This is the enter to the light. This is the martyring of the tension. This is everything for us. This is the pay we need to do it for him, for the real love.
Sometimes we all have families, and we end up in situations where I ask myself, is this making me closer to God, or is this making me away from God? But our families don't understand. So what I do at that moment is I sacrifice. I stay in that situation because I have no choice, but I am repairing and redoing, undoing what is happening because I have no control. So the opposite of what is happening, and I offer that sacrifice to Jesus, and I unite what I'm feeling at that moment, and I recall in my head, his suffering or the hours of the passion come to my mind to repair whatever is happening at that moment. So when we are used to doing the hours of the passion, he will bring those scenes to our attention, so we can use them to repair for what we are witnessing at that moment.
Yeah, doing these things, we never lose the life of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
Exactly.
simple.
We're giving him life.
Yeah.
And in those situations, situations that are so difficult in life that we all have, or will have, right? It should be like, let me see, we should be joyful when those situations happen, because yes, they're kind of sad, right? Because we don't feel good of what we're seeing, what we're hearing. But in that moment, just like Penelope said, we can hear with the ears of Jesus. We can see with his eyes, right? We can feel with his heart. And what we're doing in that very moment is doing exactly what he always does, because it's eternal. He will always keep on repairing. So we're united with him, doing exactly what he does. For what reason? To repair and to redo all those bad things that creatures do to Jesus. So and then another thing is that we should see Jesus in every situation that we confront. Like if it's a very delicate situation, for example, we have a person in front of us that is saying bad things to us. Well, that person is not saying bad things to us. That person is saying bad things to Jesus. And if we see Jesus in that person, we will see Jesus that can't talk. Jesus is silent in that moment because Jesus doesn't talk that way. So that person does not let Jesus talk in that moment. So we talk to Jesus and we tell them, please forgive him, right? I repair your suffering. I suffer with you. So that person can have the light and the strength to understand what he is doing or she is doing, so she can come back to you. Patricia has something to say.
Yes, certainly is that the matter of attention, in everyday's life, that we are in our family or friends. And here when actually that Jesus is saying, to dart through hearts and draw them to my love. Considering that he was trying to dart and draw it to his love since the first soul until the last one. And he says, and primarily my mother and Saint Joseph. So here we are. I wonder, make me a couple questions. If me, supposedly living in divine will, if I'm acting as Jesus, seeing, Mary, his mother, and Saint Joseph, am I doing it? Did I do it yesterday or, at the time? And Jesus asking again, everything was done for God. Did I do it for God? And it's when I think, oh my goodness, I fell here, I failed, but going back, that's what is important for me when I lose track of the passion of Jesus is when I don't keep silence, or, I think silence is gold many times for any situation. And that's just trying to not lose sight of the house in Nazareth, along together with the passion of Jesus later. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Patricia. So next Wednesday, then we'll continue reading volume 1. And thank you so much for being part of this beautiful journey, this divine journey with the Book of Heaven. So I'll see you next week. Take care.